남기다요.
And then there are always the sporting events to help a fellow let off surplus steam. The steeplechase, track meets, swimming, golf, tennis, baseball. Also serving as escape valves are the many gay holidays: New Year's, Girls' Day, Boys' Day, the carp kite symbolizing virility, the Cherry Blossom Festival, a special festival in honor of a great actor. Also for a time, Christmas, without general religious significance, but Santa Claus seems to know his way around. Back to nature spells ease and relaxation in one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Beauty spots are held sacred throughout Japan and are annually visited by thousands of pilgrims. The native religion of Shinto, meaning the way of the gods, assists in this regard with shrines erected wherever nature discloses her choicest offerings. Nature's myriad faces are never feared. They're trusted as kami, as superior beings, subject to control, of course, by human endeavor. For the Japanese, the machine means not only scientific control of things, but also ease and relaxation. A machine can be operated with full confidence that the laws of mechanics will be maintained. This is in sharp contrast to what can be expected of a fellow Japanese. Since man is not a mechanism or robot, he cannot be fully trusted to follow the rules of automatic behavior as demanded by the national plan. Or why did the government have to pass the Peace Preservation Act of 1925, outlawing even dangerous thoughts? Little wonder, then, that the human plan for happiness breeds worry and strain, distrust, suspicion, and fear. Even less wonder that the Japanese finds temporary relief in working over a mechanism, whether it be a pocket watch or a tank. But how does he get that way? Just how does a Japanese become Japanese? A bundle of human protoplasm without an enemy in the world. He can't walk or talk or do any of the things peculiar to Japanese, not yet, but he will before long, as surely as the woman cradling him in her arms is Japanese. The Japanese love their doll-like youngsters. This little fellow is the center of smiling attention and loving warmth. But hold everything. Somebody slipped up here. He doesn't like being the hunch on somebody's back. It's not at all comfortable, and Mother doesn't do a thing about it. It's even worse when there's an older brother or sister in the family. The human pack is usually shifted to him or to her, and sometimes it gets to be pretty rough going for Junior. These grown-ups are getting harder and harder for Junior to understand. Suddenly they remember and begin singing lullabies to him. Of course, everything is lovely when you've finally got things down pat like these kids. They can use their chopsticks properly, and they know their chanto, or how to sit, legs tucked under and back straight, just like Father. War means regimentation, and child training is part and parcel of this regimentation. School days call for uniformity of dress, as well as uniform bowing to the emperor's picture, even though it's hidden from view. Calisthenics is the same for every child in every school in Japan. A government official in Tokyo broadcasts the commands over a public address system on a national hookup. In the schoolroom, the complexities of the Japanese language demand rigid group discipline. Now, all together. Teacher saves all examination questions and answers for official inspectors from the central government who must satisfy themselves that instruction is going forward along approved lines. Here's a lesson cut out of a Japanese film. Study at home, and then at school, with a follow-up of the war story being studied. The study of war and its heroes brings results. But these are children at play. Meanwhile, the little girls learn the Japanese way of opening a door, bowing, serving. Some of them learn the art of the geisha. The teenage group thrills en masse. Those with a hankering for the sea take their training aboard ship. Still other boys and girls march off to the farms and pitch in with sickle and hoe. Together they wave their flags as they sing, as they march. Literacy in Japan, from the time education was made compulsory in 1872 to the present, tells a story of steady and relentless growth. This is a remarkable record, but not very surprising, in a land where education is a matter of indoctrination. Here's a little drama having a 10 nights in a barroom flavor, but with a Japanese moral. Father is a drunkard. He wants his kid to get out on the streets and earn some liquor money for him. A government teacher intervenes to take the boy to school. Infuriated, father and his drunken cronies beat him up. But in the end, the good life prevails with the youngster in a school uniform and his reformed father puffed up with pride. Messages delivered by the postman are read by women of the farm as well as of the city. Bulletins are read by all alike. Radios are indispensable. The isolated lighthouse keeper need no longer keep a lonely vigil. The Empress herself furnishes him with a radio. Japanese indoctrination has a definite tie-up between the ancient samurai spirit of a select warrior class and the modern cult of Bushido, cultivated by the entire nation. This young man is a stranger among these samurai, but he proves his mettle by a masterly display of physical prowess. Oh. These young soldiers of today prove their worth by acquiring skill in the use of the bayonet. At the same time, modern young women make their mark in archery. Samurai aggressiveness takes on all comers. The modern son of Bushido stands up to the Chinese coming at him in swarms. samurai code demands complete self-control when facing inevitable death. The same spirit animates the modern warrior who calmly partakes of a ritual drink of sake before going out on a suicide mission. Harakiri, the final sacrifice of a samurai. Suicide known as falling like a cherry blossom, which is Bushido, or the way of the warrior. Adulation, emulation, imitation of the heroes of old, elevated to godhood and worshipped at shrines. A flight of wild ducks following their leader. The Japanese narrator says, His Majesty is father and mother to the people. Majesty and people, all one. Banzai, banzai, banzai. May the emperor live 10,000 ages. The chorus of 100 million voices is the title of the song we hear. One chorus, one nation, one people. One is the word for it. And why not? With common beginnings in divinity. The goddess Izanami married the god Izanagi and gave birth to the Japanese islands and to other generations of gods who begot the Japanese people. Remember this reconciliation scene? Here's how it ends. They go up to Grandma's grave and report their reunion to her. This report is, in effect, a request for divine sanction, stretching from Grandma in her grave to the earliest beginnings of divine ancestry on high. One continuous ladder whose topmost rung rests on the plane of high heaven. Jimmu Tenno, the first Mikado, according to myth, ascended the throne and issued the following imperial rescript. We shall found the empire and cover the whole of that which is under the heavens. Japan celebrated the 2600th anniversary of her mythological founding with a reaffirmation of her plan. A total plan as all-inclusive as total war. Secretary Hull stated to the Japanese ambassador, the government of the United States and the government of Japan have been carrying on conversations for the settlement of questions relating to the entire Pacific area, based on the principles of peace, law and order, and fair dealing among nations. President Roosevelt wrote to the Emperor of Japan, developments are occurring in the Pacific area which threaten to deprive each of our nations and all humanity of the beneficial influence of the long peace between our two countries. I am confident that both of us have a sacred duty to restore traditional amity and prevent further death and destruction in the world. 55 minutes after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Ambassador Nomura and Special Envoy Kurusu presented a note to Secretary Hull stating, the government of Japan, prompted by a genuine desire to come to an amicable understanding with the government of the United States, has continued negotiations with the utmost sincerity. We must know them as they are. We must know them as they are.